recognize Senator Kaine, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank Ranking Member, and I thank our public servants for their testimony. Every concern expressed by everyone on this committee on this issue is very legitimate. I don't think there's just a completely clear answer, but I just want to state quickly, as I have before, that I support President Biden's decision with respect to the removal of U.S. troops. We have been in Afghanistan. It's the longest war in American history, 20 years come this September. It took us 10 years to find and kill Osama bin Laden, the perpetrator and mastermind of the 9/11 attack. And then for 10 years, we've done our best to build up and train an Afghan security apparatus that was essentially non-existent when we began the war in 2001. The civil war in Afghanistan had degraded the Afghan military and national security forces and police to such a degree that we pretty much had to start from scratch. 20 years in, I think I'm right, although I will certainly accept correction from the experts. The Afghan army is now about 180,000, as by my sort of quick analysis. The Afghan Air Force is 7,000 with hundreds of aircraft. The Afghan National Police is 116,000. All of these security components have been funded, built, carefully trained over these 2 decades by the United States and by other allies. The Taliban is estimated to be at about 55,000 to 85,000. And so the combined Afghan national security apparatus, if I'm correct in this, is over 300,000, and the Taliban, a formidable fighting force, is 55,000 to 85,000. The commitment of these witnesses, and I hope Congress will continue to meet this commitment, is that the United States will continue to provide massive support to our partner and ally Afghanistan, military support, including the payment of salaries of Afghan security forces, diplomatic support, humanitarian support, economic support, but we will remove 3,500 U.S. troops. When President Biden made his announcement in April, at that point, the official count of U.S. troops in Afghanistan was 2,500. There were other reporting suggesting that possibly involved in special operations or additional missions, the total might have been 3,500. Is 3,500 U.S. troops the difference between success and failure in Afghanistan after 20 years? I don't believe that it is. I don't believe the 3,500 U.S. troops, because no one in this committee, as far as I'm aware, is proposing to increase the number of U.S. troops. I don't believe 3,500 U.S. troops after 20 years is the difference between a success or failure in Afghanistan when there's an Afghan national security apparatus of more than 300,000 matched up against a Taliban of 55,000 to 85,000. What is the ingredient that will determine success or failure in Afghanistan going forward? It's the Afghan people. The Afghan people who have experienced a significant increase in life expectancy, who've experienced a significant increase in the education of their young, including the education of young women, a dramatic improvement in public health infrastructure and other elements of civil government. The Afghan people will have to decide, is it worth fighting for? And it can't be worth more to us than it is to them. And that's kind of a painful thing to say. It's kind of a cold, tough thing to say, but success in Afghanistan can't mean more to the United States than it means to the Afghans. And at the end of the day, I believe it won't mean more to us than the Afghans. I believe the Afghans, having seen the benefits of improved quality of life over 20 years, will decide that they want to keep that rather than to go backwards and experience what they were during the time when the Taliban and others were engaged in a massive civil war of the country. But if the Afghans choose at the end of the day that that doesn't matter to them, there's no amount of U.S. troops, none. There's no amount of U.S. troops that would make a difference. And so I think this is a painful decision, and comments of my colleagues who feel differently about it, I completely get every legitimate concern they have, and it's a very legitimate concern. But we cannot want success in Afghanistan more than the Afghans do. And having built up a security apparatus with a continued commitment to funding that apparatus and being a supporter of our allied nation going forward, I think that is the right role for the United States to play right now, and that's why I support President Biden in his decision. And I thank the witnesses for appearing today.
Thank you, Senator Kaine. Let me recognize now Senator Kramer.
Thank you, Mr.